You stare at the caller ID as your phone rang for the fifth time, but instead of answering, you once again ended the call and threw the phone on the couch beside you. It was your husband Jungkook, and you were ignoring his calls to let him know how angry you were. He had been away on back-to-back work trips with barely a day rest in between. You hadn't even seen him properly in weeks, and it was eating at you. Last time when he left, you warned him that it's getting too much and he was testing your patience, but saying that it would be the last for this month or maybe for a few months. He left, but you didn't want it to let this slide. Suddenly the doorbell rang, pulling you from your thoughts. With a sigh, you went to answer it, surprised to see Jungkook's mother standing there. Her expression was stern, as always whenever she sees you. Hello, Mom. You greeted her, trying to keep your tone civil. She didn't waste any time. Why aren't you answering Jungkook's calls? She demanded, folding her arms as she stepped inside. Do you have any idea how worried he is about you? You took a deep breath, trying to keep calm. Mom, this is between me and Jungkook. I just needed some space. She scoffed. Space? You don't understand what it means to sacrifice, do you? You have never seen a hard day in your life. Everything you have ever wanted has been handed to you, and now because my son loves you so much, you are making his life harder. You felt your face flush, but you clenched your fist, knowing that arguing would only make things worse. Mom, please, this is between me and Jungkook. She interrupted you in the middle, not ready to listen to you. Between you and Jungkook? He works day and night, barely gets any rest, and still has to worry about your moods. You knew his work was demanding, yet you still expect him to drop everything and be here at your whim. Why are you giving him such a hard time? Do you know how worried he sounded when he called me? He immediately took the flight back because you weren't answering his calls. Her words cut deep, but you held your tongue, knowing that any response would only fuel the fire. Instead, you took a shaky breath and forced yourself to remain calm. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Mom. He's my husband and I have my right to miss him or want him. Thank you for your concern, but I really need some time alone. Without waiting for her reaction, you turned and walked into your room, closing the door softly behind you. Leaning against it, you let out a frustrated breath, willing yourself to keep your composure. Talking to her wouldn't change anything, and you knew you would only feel worse if you let her get under your skin. Growing up as your father's only daughter, you were the center of his world. He was protective and adoring, indulging you in every way he could, so you never felt the sting of limitations or the need to sacrifice. You learned early on to voice your wants and expectations, knowing they would be met without question. Life was easy, and you grew up with confidence that came naturally when you knew you were deeply loved and cared for. And just like your father, you found a man who turned out to be the love of your life. Despite his mother's disapproval, Jungkook chose to marry you, knowing you were who he wanted. He wasn't one for big romantic gestures, but he spoiled you in small, thoughtful ways. He remembered the little details, your favorite coffee, how you liked to relax, or the way you hummed when you were happy. He was always attentive, holding your hand in quiet moments and staying up late to check on you whenever he was away. Jungkook's job, however, took up much of his time, often keeping him away for long stretches. Though you understood, it left you feeling lonely and craving his presence, which was hard because you were used to always having someone close. His mother saw these moments as a sign that you didn't understand what it took to be with a man like Jungkook, often hinting that you were too spoiled to appreciate his work. But despite his mother's doubts, Jungkook never wavered in his love for you. He knew your quirks, your stubbornness, and your need for attention, and he loved you all the more for it. Though quiet, he was endlessly patient and showed his love through his actions, making sure you knew how much you meant to him. For him, you were the one person who truly understood his silent, unwavering devotion. Hours passed and you tried to distract yourself, but each time felt like an eternity. Then finally you heard the front door open and Jungkook's familiar voice. Your heart pounded, half relieved, half nervous about what he would say. You didn't go out to open the door because you knew Jungkook's mother would before anyone, and right now you didn't want to deal with her sarcasm or anything, so you stayed in your room knowing he would come to you. Oh, Jungkook, you're home. His mother's voice greeted him, dripping with a sudden warmth. Mom, thank you for coming in with just one call. Where is Ryan? There was a hint of impatience in his voice. She sat rolling her eyes. In her room, sulking, I imagine. She's been ignoring your calls and acting spoiled as usual. I honestly don't understand why you let her get away with this. She's always giving you a hard time and you never say a word against it. Jungkook let out a small sigh. Mom, I know she's frustrated. Work's kept me away a lot lately and it hasn't been easy for her. His mother huffed, crossing her arms. Oh, don't start defending her. You are working hard and she should understand that. Instead, she's throwing tantrums as if you owe her every minute of your time. She doesn't understand what sacrifice means. Jungkook's voice softened but held firm. Mom, I know you're concerned, but I can handle it. I love her and it's my job to make sure she feels secure. She has been patient for a long time. His mother shook her head. This is exactly what I mean, Jungkook. You spoil her too much and she'll never change. She has no idea what you go through every day for her sake. She has never had to work hard or give up anything. Don't you see that? You have to come home leaving everything just because of her stubbornness. She's really spoiled from the start and you're making it worse. She acts like a stubborn child and not like a responsible wife. Mom, please, I appreciate that you care, but this is between me and her. I'll talk to her. She sighed heavily but didn't push further. Fine, but remember she can't keep acting like this forever. Jungkook nodded, giving her a reassuring look before heading towards your room. He knocked softly and you opened the door, feeling both relieved and apprehensive. His gaze softened as he looked at you, his voice gentle as he spoke. Ryan, as much as you were relieved to see him, your anger didn't go away. You turned before he could say anything and walked further into the room. Jungkook followed you, he knew you were angry. Ryan, I'm sorry love. I know I have been busy lately and I'm not giving you time, but what? You finally broke the silence, turning towards him. Your eyes were filled with tears that made his heart ache. You always say that, Jungkook. You say you're sorry, you say things will change, but here we are again. Do you know how it feels to keep waiting, to keep missing you, while you are off with work like I'm not even here? Jungkook's shoulders dropped in guilt as he watched you. He tried to reach for your hand, but you pulled back, shaking your head. I'm here alone night after night, and nothing feels right without you. It's like nothing else makes sense when you're gone. I just want you, Jungkook. Is that really so much? He stepped closer, hesitantly reaching out to cup your face, thumbs brushing away a stray tear. I know, and you're right. I have been so focused on work, I didn't realize how much I was hurting you. I'm sorry, Ryan. You're everything to me. I'll make it right. You looked at him, finally your heart cried as you wanted to hug him. Did you eat dinner? You shook your head. I'm not hungry. He sighed, but before he could say anything further, his mom came inside the room as she was listening to everything and thought you're fighting with her son and always does. Honestly, Ryan, do you even realize how hard he works? You have had everything handed to you your whole life, and now you are doing the same to him, expecting him to be at your beck and call? Jungkook frowned, turning to her. Mom, please. No, Jungkook, she needs to understand this. You work day and night, and instead of appreciating it, she's giving you grief. Ryan, you knew exactly what kind of life you were marrying into, yet here you are making things even harder for him. Jungkook watched his mother, his jaw set but his voice calm as he stepped in. Mom, I appreciate your concern but please don't say anything more. Ryan and I will work this out. This is between us. She stayed silent, clenching her fist to keep her emotions in check. As much as her words stung, you knew speaking up would only escalate things. You'd learned early on that Jungkook always took a stand for you, and the last thing you wanted was to make the situation harder on him by arguing with his mother. His mother scoffed, crossing her arms. You think I'll stay quiet while she gives you a hard time? She's been spoiled her whole life, and instead of being grateful, she's here demanding even more of your time and energy. Why don't you just take her back to her parents' house? Give yourself some peace of for once. Jungkook's gaze hardened, but he kept his voice even. Mom, with all due respect, I don't need you to make decisions for my marriage. I'm more than capable of handling things with Vian. Yes, she's upset, and I understand why. I've been gone too much, and that's my responsibility, not hers. His mother frowned, clearly growing more frustrated. You're being too soft, Jungkook. She's giving you a hard time, and you're just letting it happen. You don't need to tolerate this when you already have so much on your plate. You felt your cheeks flush but bit your tongue, knowing that jumping in wouldn't help. Jungkook gave your hand a gentle squeeze, as if sensing the restraint it took for you to remain quiet. He took a deep breath, turning fully to his mother. Mom, this isn't something you need to worry about. Vian is my wife. If she's upset, it's because I haven't been there for her. It's my job to understand her and make it right. That's my responsibility, and I want it that way. His mother looked at you, clearly unpleased, but she knew Jungkook won't let her say anything to you. He always takes a stand for you, even if she's his mother. She looked at Jungkook. At this point, I don't know what will happen to you and your future. She's just too hot-headed and stubborn, saying that she left not only from the room but also the house. She doesn't want to stay more. Once the door closed, Jungkook let out a sigh. His shoulders relaxed. He turned back to you, taking both of your hands in his. I'm sorry, love. I know it's hard and I know you keep quiet to keep the peace, but I'm here and I'll always stand by you. I know you just wanted me around and I'll make sure that changes. You're what matters to me. You looked up at him, your heart softened. I miss you, Jungkook. I know you work hard for us, but sometimes I just want you here with me. I'm sorry for acting up too much. He shook his head, pulling you into a warm embrace. Don't apologize. I know I make you wait for me a lot. I promise I'll do better. We'll get through this together. You hugged him back, closing your eyes and letting your tears fall. I love you, Jungkook. I never meant to hurt you or give you a hard time, but I don't like when you are away too much. I'm sorry that you have to come leaving everything, but I swear I don't mean to give you a hard time. Jungkook pulled back slightly, cupping your face in his hands. His eyes were filled with understanding and warmth. Ryan, don't apologize for wanting me here. I'm sorry that my work has made you feel like you need to. Wanting to be together isn't something you should feel guilty about, okay? You looked away, the words his mother had said still echoing in your mind. Your mom was right though. I'm used to getting what I want. I didn't mean to make things harder for you. She thinks I'm just making things difficult. Jungkook's expression softened even more, his gaze steady as he held your face. No, don't let anyone else's words make you feel this way. You're not making things harder for me, and you're not a burden. You are the reason why I work so hard, Ryan. And the last thing I want is for you to feel that loving me and wanting me here is a problem. You bit your lip, feeling the tension ease as his words sank in. But I don't want you to feel torn between work and me. I know how much you already do, and I don't want you to feel any extra pressure because of me. Jungkook stroked your cheek with his thumb. His gaze was tender. Ryan, you are my priority. I want to be here as much as you want me here. Don't ever think you're asking too much by wanting us to be together. I'll make more time and we'll balance this, alright? I'll always stand up for us because I need you just as much as you need me. You felt the weight of his words and a sense of relief washed over you as he held you close. I can't do anything without you. You mean everything to me. Jungkook smiled, pulling you even closer. His voice was soft and reassuring. And I'm so lucky to have a wife who loves me and wants me this much. I can never be thankful enough for this. He placed a gentle kiss on top of your head. And I don't plan on going anywhere. We'll be by each other's side now and always, and no one else's opinions will change that. Now let's go and eat something. I'm going to make your favorite fried rice. You broke the hug and looked at him. You just go and change. I'll prepare everything. You must be tired already. A smile appeared on his face as he watched your mood getting lighter. I'm never too tired to cook for my sweetheart. But still, I'm going to cook. He chuckled, pinching your cheek lightly. Okay, let's cook together. That would be great, wouldn't it? You chuckled and nodded. Okay. His smile widened and he kissed you before you walked towards the kitchen.